All right, welcome everyone to Bring Beats Unlocked to your students by Beats Unlocked by Facebook. So I just want to start off by saying welcome and say a little bit about our partnership that we were able to create this year, that this partnership will impact thousands of students nationwide to get them excited about not only STEM, but STEAM as well. So we are grateful for the opportunity to have developed this partnership and this significant commitment with a goal to collaborate together to bring success and awareness, increase self-efficacy, and build identity in STEM. So I want to do a quick introduction of Evelyn Hunter from codehs.com, who will co-present with Beats Unlocked.
Good morning, everybody. We're so excited to share Beats Unlocked with you. So my name is Evelyn Hunter, and I'm the Director of Curriculum at CodeHS. And so I've been working in computer science education for about 5.5 years now. And we're really excited to share a program that we've been developing through our partnership with EdMod. And I'm going to go ahead and pass to Rachel to introduce herself now.
Hi, I'm Rachel. I am a curriculum developer here at CodeHS, and I love the Beats Unlocked program. It's a lot of fun, and I'm excited to work on it with you all today.
Hi, everyone. My name is Erika. Buenos dias for the Pacific Coast, where I'm in California. Buenas tardes for those of you who are on the East Coast or Midwest. I have the honor and privilege of leading Beats Unlocked here at Facebook under the Education Modernization team. The EdMod team is a team that creates products, initiatives, and programs to support historically underrepresented communities and accessing CS and STEAM across US, LATAM, and soon to be Europe. We are really proud to be here today and love our partnership with SHPE and the pre-collegiate team. So super excited to be able to share Beats Unlocked and how to bring it to your community. I'll pass it back to Evelyn.
Great. So just a quick agenda of our workshop today. This is the welcome messages that we'll spend about 5 minutes on. Then we'll give a brief introduction to the Beats Unlocked workshop program. We'll talk about the different program guides and resources that educators have access to. Then we'll actually let you experience Beats Unlocked as a student. So you'll spend about 15 minutes going through the workshop experience, understanding what students might go through and create. We'll spend some time answering any questions that people have, and then we do have a brief survey at the end. All right, so this is something that we do in our workshops, especially when we're running them virtually, just to get students started and kind of engaging with the workshops. So if you can go ahead and in the chat, you should be able to answer this question. What is your favorite style of music? And so if you want to just post, yeah, you can send it to us. Thank you, Juan, Rancheras and EDM. Awesome. Anybody else? Salsa. Thank you, Dr. Dora. And so this might be a time where we're just kind of getting students started, because one thing that's really awesome about this workshop specifically is there's a lot of opportunity for students to bring their own interests and their own kind of personality, because they're going to be creating some beat programs. And depending on the type of style of music that they love, they can kind of bring that to their programs. All right, we've got cumbia, R&B. Thanks, everybody. World music. Thanks, Christine. Great, so let's get into what is Beats Unlocked. And I actually have a short video, that I can play.
Imagine a workshop where students can channel their inner musician and build critical computer science skills. Introducing Beats Unlocked by Facebook, a free online program that brings coding to life through music. Students can produce original compositions, explore different genres of music, and remix their favorite songs, all through the power of coding. And that's not all. Participants enjoy a Beats showcase, merch, prizes, and more. What are you waiting for? Step into our studio and get the keys to Beats Unlocked. Unlock the beat. For more information on our program, how to bring Beats Unlocked to your community, head to beatsunlocked.fb.com.
All right, so that's an awesome introductory video just into the Beats Unlocked experience. And I'm going to pass to Erica to talk about the program mission for a minute.
Awesome. Thank you, Evelyn. We created Beats Unlocked with the idea of, could we create an experience that is culturally relevant for students and for the students that we serve? And we felt that beat making is something that a lot of students love and love being able to express their creative aspect of it, but we wanted to also have an introduction to computer science. One of the beautiful things about the program, and most of the programs and initiatives we create on our team, is that you don't need to know any prior CS languages to be able to explore and be successful in the experience. So Beats Unlocked is also in that same boat. So you don't need any prior C++, JavaScript, etc. to be able to code your own beat. If you're familiar with block-based coding, which we'll get into later in the slide, you'll be able to see the overlap within Beats Unlocked. Ultimately, we wanted to provide a pathway that was cost-free and that also had a high quality ability for students to be able to access across the board. And so our partner felt correct that it would be CodeHS in this experience. And so together we built the ability for students to create a beat, be creative, explore and have fun, and be able to showcase what they created with their community. And so that is our program mission.
Awesome, thank you, Erica. So different program requirements that we have. This is open to all SHIP chapter advisors. There is an age requirement for students. They must be at least 13 years old to create accounts and do the experience and workshop. You need Wi-Fi access, a minimum of 10 megabytes per second. So it's pretty standard. A one-to-one laptop or computer access per student or for each student. You can definitely have students share if that comes down to it. We do have notes on that in our educator guide. It is not accessible on tablets or cell phones, so that is a very important thing to note. You do want students to have like a laptop, computer, Chromebooks will also work as well. And you just need to have that belief that every student should have that equal opportunity to, build their future, explore coding, explore computer science and STEM experiences. So how does it work? So educators will lead, so you will lead students through an interactive workshop experience. We have different workshop choices. So there's a 60-minute experience, there's a 90-minute experience, and then there's a 2-hour experience. This can be taught over one continuous session, or it can be taught over multiple days. We have different roadmaps that are linked up here. And then we also have alignment. This is maybe relevant more for our classroom teachers with core subject and computer science standards. So we have Common Core Math, Next Generation Science, National Music Standards, and Computer Science Teachers Association is the national framework that we have aligned our experience to. So if you are in a classroom and you're not sure how this fits into your core curriculum, we have that on page 7 of the educator guide, which will be shared out in this experience. So in the actual workshop, students are going to create musical beats using our JavaScript block-based coding environment. And so JavaScript is a popular programming language. And block-based coding, you can see here, is a visual drag and drop method. So students aren't typing, which makes it really, really easy for them to get started. If their typing skills, might be not there, or they're very new to coding, this is a very accessible way for students to get started creating things without some of the intimidating factors of coding. So the typing and learning all of the different commands and having those memorized. So students can create these programs, and you'll jump into that and see that it's a pretty low getting started kind of activation energy. And we're trying to really kind of make this an accessible experience where students feel like they can get started and start creating things without, feeling like experts, because many students, this is going to be their first coding experience. And at the end, students are going to participate in a Beats showcase that we'll talk more about, and where they share their work with their peers, and they get to actually, celebrate each other. Everybody creates something slightly different in this experience. And so it's a cool thing to kind of at the end see that everybody, even in a 60-minute experience, they get the same introductory kind of overview of the Beats Unlocked experience, and then everybody at the end has something slightly different to share. And so, in this workshop, students get to learn some basic coding, they get to be creative, and then they also get to see, I think this is a really, really important kind of piece of this, is that coding has so many applications. I think that a lot of times students have kind of the stereotypical, coder or software engineer in their mind, and they might not see themselves as that. Maybe that's not their interest. But coding does have so many different applications, and it actually is a really creative endeavor that you can use for artistic expression. So actually being able to make that connection, I think, is a really key part of this workshop. So students who might see themselves as artists and creatives can see that that actually is in alignment with learning computer science and learning how to code. All right, so really quick, what is block coding? Block coding is a type of programming that uses block commands instead of text. And so when you're doing block programming, you can see that you're building programs together by snapping these blocks into place. Y'all might be familiar with that, or if it's new to you, the big thing is that, students are not having to learn. You can see in this bottom right corner, you can actually switch from the block to text. So students can see the text that is kind of behind the blocks that they've pieced together. You can see that that's maybe an intimidating, here we go, a pretty intimidating thing to look at. They might not feel ready to make that type of program, but they are making that type of program just kind of with the scaffolding of the block programs in our Beat experience. All right, so since y'all are going to actually get the opportunity to explore this experience as a student, we wanted to give you an overview of the music editor. And this is an introductory video on Beats Unlocked that you might play for your students in the workshop.
One of the first things you'll learn to use is the music editor page. Here in the gridded area is your workspace. This is where you'll assemble the code blocks to create your beat. Beats Unlocked uses JavaScript block coding. JavaScript is a popular coding language that many professional programmers use. Block-based coding means that we are using a visual drag and drop environment to build our code, instead of typing out the different components. You can see all of the possible code blocks on the left-hand side in your block library. The blocks here are organized so that the similar blocks are grouped together. Up first, you have your measures. This is a unit of time that features a specific number of beats played at a certain tempo or speed. Your beat blocks are next, and they let you program your beat's rhythm and set the tempo. Drum sounds are grouped by genre. So if you're interested in a more rock sound, we've got you covered. Following are synth sounds. Synth blocks can be used to play a specific note or chord, and you can use these in addition to the drum sounds in your compositions. The visualization section allows you to change the type and color scheme of the display you see when you play your beat. We'll get into that later. Lastly are your loops. These blocks can be used to repeat sections of your beat program to create a more complex sound. Let's move on to the right side of your workspace. This is where you can run your code, letting you listen to your work. The green Run button lets you play your music and show its visualization. When you're ready to finish running the current code and stop playing your beat, you'll click on the red Stop button. Every time you drag a new code block into your program, you are actually adding JavaScript code that the computer will read and execute when you run your code. You can actually see the JavaScript code that the computer reads by switching from blocks to text. But note, you'll need to switch back to blocks to continue editing your program. Take some time here to get a feel for all the components and where they are. You'll be in these elements often.
Awesome. So that's a really great introductory video that you can show students in the Beats Unlocked experience to get them familiar with the coding editor environment. I'm actually also going to pass to Rachel for her to just walk you through the editor. And if you do have any questions, you can send it to us in the Q&A or the chat, and we can make sure to address those. So I'm going to actually stop sharing.
All right, so I'll give you a quick tour, a live demo of the coding editor, just to follow up on that video, that awesome video. So here we can see is the area where we will be creating our beat, so building our beat with the beat blocks. And over here are the beat blocks in the library, and then over here is where we play our program. And so what we'll start is by adding a measure. We'll start by getting a measure block. And then we can add as many beats to our measure as we want. Something that I want you to just you can hear the snapping the blocks into place. That's something that if students are unfamiliar with block coding, that's a way to help them make sure that they are putting all of their beats together. And then we'll add a beat. And the beats are these pink blocks, as we saw in the video. And then what we'll want to do with our beat is we'll add an instrument to our beat. And so I'm going to start with just the hi-hat. And something that I think is really great is that if students are unfamiliar with certain popular beats, if they go to the example tab, there's a couple of example common beats that they can use to start building their program. And so we can go ahead and say, I'll do the hi-hat on beats 1, 3, 5, and 7. And so these check marks are saying when I want the hi-hat to play. So now I'm going to run my program. You can see that it is playing on 1, 3, 5, and 7. And it'll loop over and over again, so students will keep playing until they press the stop button here. And then let's say we want to add another beat. So I'm going to add another beat. So each beat, we're adding an instrument. And so now I want to add let's add another one. And then you can use the drop down to choose from all of these different beats. And if you are interested in different genres of music, as the video pointed out, there are a ton of different options here for students to explore. And so then maybe we do the snare. And then I'll do the snare on 1 and 7, sure. And then playing our beat as we go is something that you can encourage students to do. And that's actually not just beat making good practice, but that's coding practice. So what good programmers do is they run their program as they build it. And so that's a really important thing for you to kind of encourage students to do and build those programming skills there. And so we can add as many beats as we want. Something that I do want to point out, if we want our beat to go a little bit faster, we can change the tempo. So we can add the tempo block to the top so that it's applying to all of the beats below it. And then we can change it if we want it to go faster. We can raise this to maybe 200 and play around with it and see how that impacts our beat. And then we can also add synth sounds. So if we wanted to add some melody, we could add a beat that has the synth sound in there. Notice how here, just since I can pull an instrument here, but right now it's not attached to any beat, so it's not going to run. So if I want it to be in my program, in my beat, I'm going to add a beat block into my measure, snap this into place, and then click or choose the different beats that I want my C to run. And that's really the main thing. Students can do a ton of different things. You can change the visualization, you can add loops. There's some example beats that you can play around with. But kind of as Evelyn pointed out, this is a really low floor, high ceiling opportunity. Students can like really go crazy with exploring the different sounds, adding their own sounds, and creating all the different beats that they're really interested in. And I will show you, so here's where we have the blocks, and then we can switch to the text so students can see where the actual JavaScript is happening behind the scenes, which is pretty cool. And they do need to switch back to blocks in order to continue working on their program. So this is the editor. It's a lot of fun, easy to use, and that's what they'll be using to write their beats. And
Awesome. Thanks, Rachel. And we actually had a good question come in while you were giving the editor tour. This was from Juan. Does the editor take text as input? So could students write code in their own IDE and then import it to the Beats Unlocked editor to play the beat? The answer is no. So this is a blocks only coding editor. Rachel talked about pretty briefly, but you can't actually code in the text. You can look at what the text is, but you can't actively edit your program in the text coding. So this is a blocks only environment for students, and the library that we use, it is unique to CodeHS. That's a good question though.
Great. Awesome. If there aren't any other questions about the IDE, I will stop sharing and hand it back over to Evelyn.
Awesome. Thanks, Rachel.
All right.
All right, I'll go ahead and reshare. Okay, so now let's talk about the different guides and resources that are available for educators who are looking to run the Beats Unlocked workshop. So your kind of big kind of resource that you'll want to definitely save this link, bookmark it. We will also be sending this out after, is the educator guide. So the educator guide will walk you through everything you need for this experience. This will have information on, we have slide templates, we have educator Zoom backgrounds. You'll get that standards alignment that I mentioned earlier. We have a glossary of terms that students will learn in the Beats Unlocked workshop. It'll take you through your preparation, what you do during the workshop, and then resources to help students continue on their coding journey after the initial workshop. One of the resources that is in the educator guide that I do want to highlight are these instructional videos. So there are some really awesome instructional videos. You saw one of them that are for students, and they can help students through different pieces of the Beats Unlocked workshop. So if giving the editor tour, like Rachel just did, you're new to CodeHS, you're new to the Beats Unlocked editor, you might not feel comfortable giving that to your students. We have these short 2-minute videos that you can kind of play for your students to help them through different parts of the workshop. And so you can use these videos both to get an understanding for yourself, and then also to show these are student-facing videos. We also have a lot of built-in support. So our CodeHS team is equipped to answer any questions that you do have as a Beats Unlocked educator who's running the workshop. If you're looking through the educator guide and you have any questions, or you're running a workshop and something goes unexpectedly and you need help in that moment, you can reach out to the CodeHS support team at hello@codehs.com, and you'll get a response from us. We'll also be sharing out, we have the Beats Unlocked teacher Facebook group. And so you can also reach out to your community of educators there to get ideas and inspiration. So the preparation for Beats Unlocked, I would say This is also included in the educator guide, but wanted to kind of run through this. You want to allot about an hour and a half of prep time, depending on the type of workshop that you're running. So you'll want to, of course, read the Beats Unlocked educator guide. That's going to take you through everything that you need before, during, and after your workshop. You'll need to create your Beats Unlocked workshop section, which will actually take you through in a minute. And then we do have the slide deck template, but you'll want to actually make a copy of that template and customize it for your workshop. There's a couple of things you want to fill in because you want to make sure that your students are joining your workshop specifically. We recommend that you explore the Beats Unlocked experience as a student. We're actually going to do that with you today. So you'll have that done already after this workshop. And then you'll want to also look at the workshop roadmaps that we have available. As I mentioned, we have different kind of roadmaps depending on the amount of time that you have and the format that you're looking for, whether you want it to be one continuous one-day experience, or if you want to, maybe you're a classroom teacher and you only have, an hour a day with students. So we'll give you advice on how to break that up into a couple of different days. And you'll want to also spend some time learning about the music editor. So that's another thing that will hopefully help you check off today. I want to pass it to Erica to talk about a couple of other opportunities that both students and teachers have.
Awesome. Thank you, Evelyn. So one of the fun incentives that we created within the experience is a Beat MVP contest. So that means any student at any time between now, since August 3rd through November 19th, can submit their beat back to Facebook. They can submit as many beats as they want. So they go back and create more beats that they want to submit. That's totally fine. And when they submit, they have a chance to win an Oculus Rift headset. So that's the set on the right-hand side in white. And then students can also win fun prizes like swag and branded merch. So this is a way for students to feel recognized for their work and be able to also win some fun swag along the way. The second piece is part of our partnership and relationship that we have with SHPE. For those of you who are part of SHPE's pre-collegiate chapters, I know it's a pretty broad audience, but for pre-collegiate advisors who complete the program, you'll be eligible for a $500 stipend. And this is just really to help whatever offset costs. Maybe you ran in person and you had a pizza party, etc. So it allows you to just have the ability to be able to support your chapter further. So that's a fun opportunity for pre-collegiate advisors. I'll pass it back to Evelyn. Oh no, sorry, apologies, it's also me. The other piece I wanted to highlighting is the Beats Unlocked event. So we did a Noche de Ciencias con Facebook Reality Labs with SHPE's team. So we were able to, in honor of Latinx Heritage Month, celebrate students, celebrate our culture and heritage, but also be able to make a reggaeton beat. So in the music editor that Rachel shared her screen, we have the example beats, and we have 5 example beats currently, and one of them is a reggaeton beat, which is really fun. And it's very much like a dembow style beat. And so students were able to learn more about the history of reggaeton, what is the influence of the Latinx community in not only STEAM, but also in music and the overlap that exists. So this was a really fun event, and I believe highlights a way that you can also apply Beats Unlocked within the SHPE model. So Beats Unlocked is also in the Noche de Ciencias manual STEAM offering on page 12. So if you are also a pre-collegiate advisor and you already plan on running a Noche de Ciencias, Beats Unlocked plays really well with just the Noche de Ciencias curriculum. So that is another option that we wanted to highlight. I will say that for this event, we did include a Facebook employee Q&A, which is a unique component. But overall, it's, I think, a huge testament to the SHPE team and the curriculum that they built with Noche de Ciencias.
Thanks, Erica. So that all said, we are ready to get started with you all exploring the Beats Unlocked experience. So we do want to make sure that you have enough time to actually get in there and kind of experience what the students might kind of go through in the workshop. So to get started, we actually do want you to create a facilitator account. And if you can go to beatsunlocked.fb.com, which Erica just posted in the chat. Thank you. And you can register as a facilitator. When you're registering, just make sure that you select SHIP under how did you hear about Beats Unlocked. We do want to kind of get a good record of people who are joining from this conference. And then once you do that, you can just check your email and that will have instructions on how to sign into CodeHS. So I'll give people a couple of minutes. And if you do run into anything, please post in the chat or Q&A and we will do our best to help out there. And feel free to post in the chat once you have been able to successfully create that account, just so we can know how much time to give people before we move on to the next piece. All right, have people been able to, if you want to quickly just post in the chat once you've been able to create that Beats Unlocked educator account. I'll otherwise maybe give another minute and then we can move on to the rest of the experience. All right, thanks, Juan. Great to hear that you're in. All right, if you haven't finished the process, we'll definitely have time after. There'll be some free time to explore, but I do want to make sure that we have enough time for you all to actually get into the editor as the students. So now that you have this educator account, you can create a workshop section very easily. Once you log into your teacher page, you'll see this My Workshops next to a green button that says create a new workshop. You press that button, then you'll be prompted to put in the name of the workshop. So you can put in, whatever class period you're doing it with, or maybe the after school program. Once you've done that, then you will see the workshop created on your teacher page next to a class code. And so this is the important piece. This is what students will actually use to join your class section. And you can then look at their work and you'll be, the teacher of their workshop. So this is how students would enroll. They go to codehs.com/beatsunlocked, and then they create a CodeHS account. They put in the class code, and then they get started. They do need to verify their age, which we mentioned earlier. They do need to be at least 13. So now let's actually have you all explore as a student. So you can go to codehs.com/beatsunlocked and then put in the class code. And this will be you joining as a student. And the class code that we're going to use today is 1E3F1. And let's see if we can put that in the chat. Thank you, Erica. And then this time is really, we have maybe 10 minutes that we can spend with you all actually exploring the workshop as a student. So once you put in that class code, you will have the opportunity to actually jump into the music editor that we've looked at. You can create your own beats. Maybe you can use that, your favorite type of music that we answered earlier in the session. Maybe you can try to do something within the genre of music that you mentioned being your favorite. And we'll actually just give you about 10 minutes to explore. And in that time, if you do have any questions, you can post in the chat or Q&A tool, and we will answer those live. All right, thank you, Christine. So you registered but did not receive a confirmation email. That should not impact you from actually experiencing this as a student. If you want to just follow the instructions to enroll as a student, that does probably mean your educator account isn't set up correctly. So I will share the CodeHS support email after this, and we can make sure that that gets set up. But if you just go to codehs.com/beatsunlocked and you put in the class code, you should still be able to explore as a student today.
The other thing I will add is that we have found when speaking to a variety of educators across the US that spam folders still are causing problems. So I would check your spam folder as well as that happens. It does take about 4 or 5 minutes. It's not like an immediate email that gets sent to your email, but it is titled Get Started with Beats Unlocked, and it is sent from CodeHS. So that's just another one to keep an eye out for when you register as an educator. If you join the section, we're kind of giving you the behind the scenes of joining as a student. So when you join as a student, you don't get any emails from the codehs.com/beatsunlocked.
Yeah, that's a good point. So I'm seeing that we do have 2 students. So still looking for a couple of more. If you do have any questions and need help getting in, then please, again, just use the chat and Q&A, and then feel free to take some time to explore, and we will regroup in about 5 minutes now.
Hey, Christine. There is no, I guess, set directions. You can feel free to log in once you're in the experience and you've created your account and just play around as if you were a student. So toggle with the music editor, be able to also go to the beat remixes and maybe remix a beat. So you can sort of see what students are seeing and what hopefully you'll be able to walk them through if you decide to facilitate Beats Unlocked. We will also be sharing the deck afterwards, so you'll be able to click on all the links and review the videos as well in your own time.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Juan, for sharing your beat. You've already jumped into the next step for us, which is actually showcasing students' beats. So awesome that you're sharing with us. You also do have the ability to share your beat. If you're in the editor, you can submit to the contest, and you can submit either to the showcase in your section, which would be for your unique workshop. If you're an educator, this would be only amongst your students. And then you also can submit to the Facebook MVP or Beat MVP contest, which Erica went over. That is with all students who are eligible. They can actually submit to Facebook for some cool prizes. Awesome. And so if people want to, they can click into and listen to Juan's beat. Awesome. Love to hear the excitement for this. So really this time is open for questions. It's open for you to continue working on your beats. It's open for you to, if you want to start looking at the educator guide and planning your own Beats Unlocked workshop, we can kind of stick around. We have about 13 more minutes, I believe, before we have to turn it over to Dr. Dora to close us out.
I don't know if you want to answer that question, Evelyn.
Yeah, awesome. That's a great question. When you're asking the technical questions here, are there any plans to make this tool available through an API? Currently, the answer is no. This is kind of a experience that we're pretty intentionally trying to, make accessible as kind of easy as possible. So it is an in-browser experience that's available through the CodeHS platform. No plans to do that for now. But if you have feedback on that, definitely we can put that request in the queue.
It is a great question, and it's very fair. I would say the other part to your question where you said, I'm curious on what the plans are after the contest. I'm not certain if you mean that as like for the program or maybe for a participant, but after the experience, there is a section in the guide that is called post-workshop. So one of our great benefits of being a partner of CodeHS is students and educators alike are able to keep their accounts cost-free. The only way I guess you don't have an account is if you delete it, but otherwise you keep it forever. And so that means students can explore 30 plus CodeHS courses like Intro to VR and Intro to Game Design if they want to continue exploring CS and STEAM. And there's also a unit 2 of the experience for students if they want to just get more technical on melodies and loops and more interested on the creative expression piece. So those are some options there. We also recommend other programs that we have on our team, like Engineer for the Week at Facebook, which is a program where we teach students also introductory CS and STEAM, but they go through a sprint model. So similar to an engineering sprint. Normally engineering sprints are like 2 days long, 3 days long. This engineering sprint model is a month long, so they have 4 weeks to explore. So that's a little bit of what occurs post-workshop. We also encourage facilitators. It's the weekend, no sprint. It's fair. And we also encourage educators alike to continue exploring other CodeHS courses that potentially they would like to teach. So that's a great question. I appreciate your enthusiasm. If you want to share also maybe what school you're at or maybe what you teach, that's awesome. I know you can't come off mute, but it'd be awesome to learn a little bit about you there. Awesome, the Si Se Puede Foundation. Oh, nice, robotics. Awesome, well, that's exciting, and we'll look forward to hopefully having your students continue exploring Beats Unlock.
Great, and since we have a little bit more time, I did want to share with you what this looks like on the teacher side. So Juan, thank you so much. You did submit your Beats Unlocked program to the contest. And so on the teacher side of things, you actually have access to all of your students who submitted to a contest. So I can actually see right here, since you are my students in my workshop here, and I can actually click into this. And so this is a great way to celebrate student work, is to actually, in the contest, you can open up a couple of different student programs. You can ask the students to maybe talk a little bit about, their inspiration for the program that they put together. And then you can actually play it for your students and kind of celebrate the work that they've done. If you're okay with us listening to it. Let's see. That was very cool, actually, for the 10 minutes that we had. Incredible. I love hearing what educators do. So at this point, we do just have a couple more minutes left, and I did want to make sure that we do have time to take the workshop survey, but I did want to take some time to just thank everybody for showing up on a Saturday and for, showing up in such a major way, bringing your creativity. And I love being able to see what people are able to create in just a couple of minutes with the Beats Unlocked environment. So we do have this post-session survey for y'all to take if you want to either go through the link, or you can use the QR code that we've embedded here. And this should take, I would say, no more than 5 minutes.
I will add that CodeHS owns a survey. So on the Facebook end, I only get an aggregate report that it's anonymized. So we'll never know your name. We'll never know what you said, but this helps us improve. So please take it and lets us, for our next educator training that we do, be able to make it even better for you all.
Sorry about that. We are editing the survey now so that SHIP is added under workshop options. So actually, if you refresh your survey, you should be able to now select SHIP as a workshop. Great. Well, thank you everyone for attending this workshop and participating and taking the survey. We really appreciate you coming and learning a bit more about Beats Unlocked, and we hope that you have a great time bringing this to your students. Erica, I don't know if you had any closing statements.
Just thank you to the SHIP team. A huge shout out to the CodeHS team. It's, I know, bright and early on the Pacific end. And thank you so much. It's an honor to be here today with you all, and always feel free to reach out if you have any questions. We're here to support you. And with that, we'll pass it to Dr. Dora.
Thank you, everyone. I'm going to pass it to Renata.
Hi, everybody. So thank you so much. We so appreciate you taking the time to host this workshop for us and SHPE. And thank you for all of the educators who are here for this. And next up, we have the part of our educator track, which is going to be the STEM Teaching Strategies panel. And that is award-winning panelists who are very willing and excited to share with you and also answer your questions. So please go ahead and navigate to that Zoom link. I'm going to close this one out. It is part of your agenda. So we'll see you all there. And thank you again to Beats Unlocked by Facebook.